Welcome to your Black History Moment. Today we will be taking a look at Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington was born on April 5, 1856 in Franklin County, Virginia. Booker Taliaferro was the son of an unknown white man and Jane, an enslaved cook, for James Burroughs, a small planter. Jane named her son Booker Taliaferro, but later dropped the second name. When Booker enrolled in school, he chose the last name Washington. Booker spent his first 9 years living as a slave on the Burroughs farm. In 1865, after slavery ended, his mother moved with her children to Malden, West Virginia, to join her husband, who had found work in the salt mines. At the age of 9, Booker began working in the salt mines, and by the age of 10, he was employed as at the coal mine. While working in the mines, Booker attended school when he could. In 1871, he became a houseboy for the wife of General Lewis Ruffner, the owner of the salt mines. In 1872, at the age of 16, Booker T. Washington enrolled at the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute in Virginia. Founded in 1868 by the American Missionary Association, the school was led by Samuel Chapman Armstrong, the son of American missionaries in Hawaii. Armstrong, who had commanded black troops during the Civil War, believed that the progress of freedmen and their descendants depended on a practical education that also instilled character and morality. Booker traveled most of the way from Malden to Hampton, over 500 miles, on foot, arriving with no money. His entrance exam to the school was to clean a room, and the teacher expected his work with a spotless white handkerchief. Impressed, Booker was admitted to Hampton. However, to cover his room and board, he worked as a janitor, while Armstrong arranged for a white benefactor to pay for his tuition. At Hampton, Washington studied both academic subjects and agriculture, but his true passion was public speaking and debate. He was overjoyed when he was chosen to speak at his commencement, a moment that reflected his dedication and growth as a student. However, the most impactful part of his time at Hampton was his relationship with Samuel Chapman Armstrong. In his autobiography, Washington described Armstrong as a great man, the noblest, rarest human being I have ever had the privilege to meet. Armstrong's philosophy of education, which emphasized character, practical skills, and self-reliance, deeply influenced Washington's own beliefs. After graduating with honors in 1875, Washington returned to Malden to teach, seeking further education. He spent 8 months at Wayland Seminary, an institution focused solely on academic studies. This experience reinforced his conviction that education should be practical and designed to uplift individuals through self-help. In 1879, he returned to Hampton to teach in a program for American Indian students, further shaping his vision for education. In 1880, the state of Alabama decided to create a school to have black students become teachers. The idea came from two men, Lewis Adams, a former slave, and George Campbell, a former slave owner. On February 12, 1881, the governor signed a law that gave the school $2,000 a year. Leaders wanted a white teacher to run the school, but Booker T. Washington was chosen instead. When he arrived in Tuskegee, he found that there was no land, no building, and no extra money, just the promise to pay teachers. But Washington didn't give up. He worked hard to tell the people about the school. He convinced students to join and even got help from white supporters. The Tuskegee Normal School officially opened on July 4, 1881, inside a small, borrowed church. Later, Washington used borrowed money to buy an old 100-acre farm. Students helped build their own school by making bricks, selling them to raise money, and using them to build classrooms, a dining hall, a dormitory for girls, and even a chapel. Thanks to Washington's leadership, Tuskegee grew quickly into where Black students could learn and prepare for successful futures. By 1888, Tuskegee Institute had grown to 540 acres and had more than 400 students. The school taught students important job skills like carpentry, printing, shoemaking, and working with metal. Boys also learned farming and dairy work, while girls were taught cooking and sewing. Students worked hard to keep the school running by making many things they needed. In their classes, Booker T. Washington made sure lessons connected to real-life experiences. He also believed in teaching students good hygiene, manners, and strong character. Every day, students followed a strict schedule. They woke up at 5 a.m. and went to bed at 9:30 p.m. Even though the school was not part of any one church, students had to attend chapel every day and religious services on Sundays. On Sunday evenings, Washington himself often gave speeches to inspire and guide the students. Dr. Booker T. Washington demonstrated that education and hard work could help Black Americans progress despite oppression. His focus on practical education shaped the field of learning, and he wrote 40 books, including Up from Slavery, Character Building, and My Larger Education. He rose to national prominence with his 1895 speech at the Atlantic Exposition, where he spoke about the new Negro, one who used education and skills to create opportunities. In 1901, he became the first Black person to dine at the White House, invited by President Theodore Roosevelt. Throughout his life, he advised U.S. presidents and worked to improve education and economic opportunities for Black Americans. Washington was married 3 times. His first wife, Fannie Norton Smith, died in 1884, leaving behind their daughter, Portia. His second wife, Olivia Davidson, was Tuskegee's assistant principal. They had 2 sons, Booker Jr. and Ernest, before she passed away in 1889. His third wife, Margaret Murray Washington, was an educator who helped expand programs for female students at Tuskegee. After years of tireless work, Dr. Booker T. Washington's health declined. He died on November 14, 1915, at the tender age of 59. His funeral was held at Tuskegee Institute, and it was attended by nearly 8,000 people. He was buried on the campus in a brick tomb at the institution where he dedicated his life to building. Dr. Booker T. Washington's strength and determination continue to inspire us today. This has been your Black History Moment. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more educational content.